is a pictorial record of the highlights of the 1955 Girls State Basketball Tournament. The record-breaking Girls State Tournament witnessed by 72,000 in the new Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Des Moines. First, here's the action in the first semifinal round game played Friday evening, March 4th. Holstein in the white uniforms controlling the ball now. Playing Royal in the dark uniforms. Two great teams fighting desperately in an epic court battle for a place in the 1955 championship game. This Holstein-Royal game was close, a seesaw battle throughout the first half. Holstein in the favorites' role, Royal the fighting underdog. For Holstein, coached by Russ Cry, forwards Jerry Jean Cole, Lois Schrader, Mary Jane Leonard. Guards for Holstein, Verna Leckband, Nancy Jansen, and Shirley Scherner. For Royal, coached by Bill Fredine, forwards Bonnie Hagedorn, Karen McCarty, Jean Berberick, Pauline Hagedorn, Fay Ann Riley, and Helen Englert. And that semifinal halftime, Royal 31, Holstein 29, as the Royal team really poured it on in that first half. Now in this second half of the Royal-Holstein semifinal battle, again, a seesaw, tremendous ball game there. The Royal girls going in to score again. Holstein playing their deliberate type of ball. That punctuated every performance. Deliberate. Back and forth, taking it easy. Schrader and Cole. And there's number 24, Schrader, with a beauty from out in the field. But a quick tip in makes it again a seesaw contest. And it's Royal 64, Holstein 64 at the end of the ball game. And now a great crowd of 13,000 waits tensely for the first overtime of the 1955 tournament. And here we are in this overtime period. 3 more hectic minutes in this Holstein Royal semifinal game of the state meet. In this 3-minute overtime period, the balance tipped to Holstein. They got an early advantage and then again used their deliberate control type of ball to hold their slight advantage. Even as slight as it was very important in these closing minutes of the overtime session. During the 3-minute overtime period, Holstein scored 12 points, Royal 9 points. And that was the margin of victory, 3 points. Holstein holding this narrow edge. Now, the Holstein girls again with their deliberate ball, long passes, and there's another basket. This time the basket by the great Holstein pivot, Mary Jane Leonard. But right again, the girls come back from Royal, and they were not enough in the point department. The game is over, and the final score, 76-73, Holstein over Royal. Holstein advances to the championship game. The second semifinal game of the tourney, Goldfield and Gilman. Gilman with an imposing 29-win, 1-loss season's record. Goldfield with an equally impressive 26-win, 1-loss record. In the first half, it was nip and tuck. Goldfield in the dark uniforms, Gilman in the light uniforms. This Goldfield with the ball now, in the dark uniforms, controlling the ball. Mary Axon, Dolores Frakes, there's Axon with the ball, the out forwards for the Goldfield team. Marcia Robinson, the pivot for Goldfield. As in every tournament game, the Goldfield girls got off to a comparatively slow start. But typical of their championship play, they began to chip away at an early Gilman advantage, scoring bucket for bucket in the closing sections of the first half and finally narrowing the game down. But in the first phases of the game, Goldfield got off to a slow start. There's Frakes again, the great forward. 25-24, Goldfield over Gilman at the end of the period. That was the halftime score, 25-24, Goldfield. Now the second half of this semifinal game, and this is when Goldfield started to pour it on. They started to get the feel of the court as they did in every tournament game. They were a second half team. And to check the lineups, the starting lineups and the lineups that played this semifinal game almost in its entirety for the teams, the forwards for Goldfield, Mary Axon, Dolores Frakes, and Marcia Robinson. The guards for Goldfield, Lois Christensen, Jane DeWitt, and Sandra White, coached by Jim Carroll. For Gilman, coached by Bill Keneal. The forwards, Ardith Ann Mayers, Norma Jean Carnahan, Bonnie Lee Lavender, guards Ruby Spees, Marilyn Peterson, and Donna Ray McNerlin, the lineup for the Gilman team. This semifinal round game between Gilman and Goldfield, as in every game, featured excellent sportsmanship by both the competing teams and the great crowds that witnessed every tournament session. Officiating was at its best, with some of the finest officials in the state working the games. Press, radio, and television coverage of this record-breaking state meet was never greater. And not only the people of Iowa, but the people of the entire nation learned of Iowa's dominance in girls basketball by newspaper stories and a featured article in our national sports magazine. Now, as we watch the action in this Goldfield-Gilman semifinal round game, as we come down to the wire, the clock moves closer to that final gun. Goldfield with a small advantage, but they held that advantage. That was the important thing, and they advanced to the finals. Goldfield 57, Gilman 45. Now we present the parade of champions. The 12 teams eliminated up to the semifinal round. They pass in review the parade of champions from Marion County, coached by Bill Bean. 23 victories, 2 losses this year. The Yellow Jackets from Bussey High School. From Cedar County, coached by J.C. Gallagher. 24 victories, 2 losses. The Cardinals from Clarence High School. From Page County, coached by Dean Rowe, 20 victories, 5 losses, the Tigerettes from Coyne High School. From Lee County, coached by Don Finney, 21 victories, 5 losses, the Tigerettes from Donaldson High School. From Hardin County, coached by Ed Engstrom, 25 victories, 1 loss this year, the Tigerettes from Eldora High School. From Story County, coached by Ralph Cosbo, 28 victories, 1 loss, the Tigerettes from Gilbert High School. From Worth County, coached by Bill Rieger, 26 victories, 4 losses, the Blue Devils from Grafton High School. From Cedar County, coached by E.W. Brenneman, 25 victories, 3 losses this year, the Go-Hawks from Loudon High School. From Guthrie County, coached by Dallas Hanna, 24 victories, 4 losses this year, the Cardinals from Menlo High School. From Clayton County, coached by Vernon Geider, 29 victories, 5 losses for the year, the Bulldogs from Monona High School. From Boone County, coached by John Smeltzer, 16 victories, 4 losses, the Cardinals from Napier High School. From Pottawatomie County, coached by O.E. Lester, 26 victories, 2 losses, the Jackettes from Oakland High School, the parade of champions, the 12 teams not in semifinal competition. Now here it is, the big one, the 1955 state championship game, a great, exciting, wonderful game played before a crowd of over 15,000 people. The greatest crowd ever to witness a girls' basketball game in the history of the sport. Goldfield in the dark uniforms and in control of the ball now. Goldfield in the dark uniforms. Holstein in the white uniforms. Holstein in the white uniforms. As we watch play in the opening minutes of this championship game, let's check the starting lineups for the championship contenders. For Holstein, coached by Russ Cry, a season's record, 31 loss. Forwards, number 21, with the ball now, 21, Jerry Gene Cole, 5'7" senior, who scored 61 points in the tournament, 404 points for the year. Number 24, Lois Schrader, 5'9" senior, scored 89 points in the tournament, 568 for the year. Number 38, the pivot for Holstein, Mary Jane Leonard, 5'7" senior, scored 105 points in the tournament, 591 for the year. Now, with this 105-point tournament performance, Mary Jane Leonard was the second-ranking individual scorer for the tournament. Guards for Holstein, and they're in the picture right now. These are the Holstein guards in action. Number 11, Verna Leckband, 5'4½" senior. Number 22 is Nancy Jansen, 5'5" senior. And number 23, Shirley Scherner, 5'7" senior. And all senior team, Holstein, which advanced to this championship game undefeated with 30 consecutive victories, only to end the season with one loss in this championship game. Now the starters in the championship Goldfield team, coached by Jim Carroll, with a season's record of 29 victories and only one loss. That first loss was in the first game of the year, losing to Dow's 55-54. Then it was nothing but the taste of victory for Goldfield. At forwards, with the ball now, number 13, Mary Axon, 5'5" junior, scored 41 in the tournament, 484 for the year. Number 22, Dolores Frakes, 5'6" junior. She scored 84 points in the tournament, 471 points for the year. Number 41, with the ball now, Marcia Robinson, a 5'8" junior, who scored 106 points for the tournament, 670 for the year. Marcia Robinson, with her 106 points, was the tournament's top scorer for the year, 1 point over Holstein's Mary Jane Leonard. Guards for Goldfield, number 12, Lois Christensen, 5'6" junior. Number 14, Jane DeWitt, 5'7" senior. And number 24, Sandra White, 5'6" junior. With the exception of Jane DeWitt, senior guard, every member of the championship team will be back again next year, each being in her junior year at Goldfield High School. Now to the action in this first half. At the start of the game, it was a slow start, an easy pace taken by both teams as they kind of felt out the opposition and took their time getting the range and all. It was 2-2 and 4-4. At the first quarter, it was Holstein 9, Goldfield 8. Now in this second quarter, we see the action coming into the final phases of the second quarter of play. In this second period, Mary Jane Leonard started working under the basket in the pivot position, drawing fouls and making those buckets, of course, which counted in the foul department or in the pivot department. 25-15 at the half. Holstein 25, Goldfield 15. In that first half, Goldfield hit only 7 field goals out of 25 attempts to average 28% from the field. Holstein hit 11 out of 21 to average a blistering 52% of all their field goal attempts in the first half of play. Now, we watch the action in the second half of play. Now, this turned into a blistering battle, with Goldfield serving notice they were anything but out of the ball game. Instead, very much in contention. Jerry Jean Cole carried the load for Holstein in the third period. Dolores Frakes played sensational ball for Goldfield, rebounding and shooting the Goldfield team closer and closer to Holstein. The halftime advantage 25-15, it looked like Holstein going away. In this third period, the complexion changed definitely, and it turned into a nip-and-tuck battle all the way. While play continues in this third period, a report on the consolation game of the 55 tournament. Gilman defeated Royal 68-47. It was Gilman in command throughout the consolation game. 12-6 at the end of the first period. 20-18 at the half. 46-31 third period. The final 68-47. So in the consolation game of the tournament, third place to Gilman, fourth place to Royal. Also of note, while this third period play is in action here in the championship game, we would like to mention 2 all-time existing records that fell in one first-round game of the tournament. Gilbert defeated Menlo 84-78 with a basket by Clea Ranch of Gilbert in the last 4 seconds of that game. This score, 84 total for Gilbert, broke the all-time record for a single team in a single game for a state tournament. The old record was 82 by Oakland against Sperry in 1950. Also, the total of two teams in this Gilbert-Menlo game, a total of 162 points, broke the all-time record of 153 by Oakland and Sperry in that 1950 game. So two all-time tournament scoring records were broken in a first-round game of this 1955 tournament. Now in the closing seconds of the third period of the championship game, there was a basket by Dolores Frakes. Miss Frakes was really pouring it on in this moment in the closing phases of the third period. Holstein trying to control that ball and play their deliberate control ball, which netted the baskets in the first period. However, the blistering 52% rapidly diminished from the field in the third period. And as a result, the Goldfield girls started to climb. There is Frakes with the ball now. Axon back to Frakes. Dolores Frakes, she was a sharp shooter in that third period. This is Goldfield trying to cut down that advantage. They're still not up to the Holstein team. That was a big one to try to cut down, 25-15 at the half. There's Frakes with the ball again. Nope. And a foul call. The officiating was at its best in this state tournament. That's Jerry Jean Cole putting in 2 free throws for the Holstein team, keep them right up there in the running and keep ahead. Now again, in the closing phases of the third period, this is Goldfield with the ball. Frakes holding. Pass into the pivot. Long shot. Hooked in was a beautiful one by Marcia Robinson, the great Goldfield pivot. Now Holstein coming back, trying for that bucket, and brilliant job by these Goldfield guards. Christensen, DeWitt, and White making up the backcourt defensive arrangement for Goldfield. Good defensive combination. Now in the forward court for Goldfield, this long pass by Frakes into Robinson. Trying, missing, Frakes, scoring, Dolores Frakes, and it's 36-34, Holstein leading at the end of the third period. And the complexion changed. Now, the fourth period. As hectic a fourth quarter as ever seen in a girls' state championship game. Back and forth, the two teams battled on even terms, neither giving an inch, each pouring in the points. The game was tied at 36 all right at the start of this fourth period. But then Holstein forged ahead, and they garnered a lead that they were never to relinquish until the end of the game. However, Goldfield was to tie that advantage. However, in the fourth period, as this play continues, remember, Holstein is always leading. They've never been tied, will not be tied now until the final seconds of the game. So, in every case, Holstein is holding an advantage as we see this fourth quarter develop. Now, there they are with the ball. Now, that's Jerry Jean Cole, number 21. Jerry Jean was a great outshooter throughout the entire tournament. Great outshooter, number 21. Now the Goldfield girls, and they must make those baskets. In every case, they keep shooting and firing away because they must take the baskets. They need them. They're trailing. Holstein, deliberate again. The two types of ball, deliberate. That's Schrader. Long pass into the pivot, Leonard. And another long pass out, Stalin. There's Jerry again. Jerry Jean Cole, 21, hitting a long one for Holstein. Goldfield must get that basket again. They've got to get that basket in. Now this is Dolores Frakes dribbling, passing off to Mary Axon. Axon driving in, trying to get that shot away. It's difficult. Get those baskets away. But the combination made up for Holstein of Leckband, Jansen, and Scherner in the backcourt position. Whipping that ball around, trying now in the final phases of the period. Not much time remaining in the fourth period, and it's very close. Holstein with just a point or two advantage as the seconds tick away. And there they're deliberately stalling. They want this clock to run out. This is in the fourth period. And Holstein deliberately holding that ball, trying to let that clock run out. Traveling called, and Goldfield gets the ball. That was Schrader traveled. Goldfield gets the ball. Now, trying for this basket. Very important points now. Goldfield must score some points. They pass in, and a pass off. And a tough one missed. And there's the great rebounding again by the Holstein defensive combo, and up we come into the forward court. And a bad pass. Paid off with the ball for Goldfield, and here they come again. Not to be denied. Goldfield High School. In the forward court, trying to get that arrangement set up. Mary Axon passes. This is Frakes. Axon Frakes. Frakes with the ball now. There's a long one. Hits. Burning that net. Dolores Frakes, number 22. Now we're coming into just the final phase of the fourth period. Very, very close now, and another bucket by the Goldfield pivot, Robinson. And now the pressure is definitely on Holstein. Their advantage, which had ranged up to about 5 points in the fourth period, has now been cut down, and it is really the pressure of the championship game in this final quarter. What will happen? That clock will tell the tale. Fighting under that basket now, and once again Holstein controls the ball. The great defensive combo. With 44 seconds to play, it's Holstein 45, Goldfield 44. With 44 seconds ticking away. 45 to 44. Holstein with that 1 point, fighting to hold that advantage. Can they hold the advantage? Only time will tell now. And a foul is called. A foul is called. Free throw missed. Another free throw missed. 45 to 44, and now down to just the final seconds, and a free throw is made by Frakes. It's 45 to 45, a deadlock now. Can she win the ball game? Can Frakes win it? It misses, and the ball game will end. The seconds are going now. It's going to be 45 to 45. Unless they make that basket, can they do it? The gun is about to sound. There, it's up in the air, and it is missed. It's 45 to 45, and now the overtime is at hand. 45 to 45, an overtime ball game. In this overtime, after a basket by Frakes and a basket by Schrader, they tied it up 47 to 47. There's Schrader's basket there. The 2 free throws were made, and it was Goldfield 49, Holstein 47. Frakes putting those 2 free throws in. Now Schrader comes back and scores 2 free throws. There's the first one, and there's the second one by Schrader for Holstein. So it's tied up 49 to 49 with 1 minute left now in this overtime. It's 49-49, 1 minute left in the overtime. And who's going to win this one? Well, we'll soon see as the time moves along. It's Holstein in control of the ball now. Trying for that basket. Will it be Holstein? It's 49-49. Less than a minute to play now. On pass in. Schrader has the ball, shoots, and makes it. Holstein 51, Goldfield 49. Now the balance tips. A basket made in the last 10 seconds by Robinson for Goldfield, and it's all tied up 51 to 51. And a foul is called. There's that first basket made by Frakes, the first free throw. The second one is missed. And so now the score is 52-51, Goldfield. Holstein can still win it. Down they go, and a foul called. A foul called. And now we'll have 2 more. The first one missed. It's 52-51. The second one made. It's 53-51. Goldfield on that one. And the gun sounds. The ball game is over. It's 53-51 Goldfield. The presentation of awards. E. Wayne Cooley, Executive Secretary of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, introduces Mr. Doyle Carpenter of Ottawa, President of the Directors of the Girls Athletic Union. The 1955 state free throw champion, Colleen Von Barron of Olin. Also receiving awards, 4th place, Royal High School, 3rd place, Gilman High School. This is the 2nd place team of 1955, Holstein High School. And now the queens of girls basketball, the 1955 state champions, Goldfield High School. And so the curtain falls on the greatest state tournament in the history of girls basketball.